And now more of
KJ and Dondero
on Boston Sports Station, WEEI.
Yeah, the 45 is the big number for me, but he did have some interesting comment through the middle of the regular season this year when he was asked about playing the 17th regular season game. He didn't seem to love that idea. So Brady right now, if they do make the Super Bowl, is going to be playing 21 games this year. He's also had to put up with some off-field issues down there that they've had in Tampa Bay. I could see that really kind of wearing on him.
He might be the next guy to get whacked by Bruce Arians.
Yeah, Justin, turn that up. Yeah. Tampa Bay's about to be motherless after today's game. It's KJ and Dondero on WEEI, part of WEEI Sports Radio Network. 617-779-7937 is the Harbor One hotline. Let's go to Brian in New London. Thanks for the call, man. Brian!
Yeah, hello, guys. The one point I want to make is that it's just going to get increasingly difficult for coaches to manage any of these NBA players because if you look at the landscape, these kids are coming out of high school, getting endorsements in 5 and 6 figures, and without knowing and understanding the value of work. And when you combine them with agents and everything else, you've got enormous egos. So I don't think it's going to get any better. It's going to get even more difficult. And I think that that's part of the problem with Jason Tatum, and he's got a huge ego. And people keep calling him a superstar. I don't get it. I don't get that at all.
Brian, thanks for the call.
Well, listen, I mean, he does have elite offensive skill. I understand the whole AAU culture thing. Somebody's got to win the NBA championship every year going forward. So,
and have you tasted his flavor potato chips? Those things are great. The hot sauce, oh my gosh. Well, that kind of goes to what the guy's saying, right? Is because so many things are put in front of him that aren't necessarily basketball related, it can be tough to see how you can coach players who have things before they've earned things. And I think that's just, sports is so now commercial.
Oh, here we go. Is this your Baker Mayfield take again?
No, okay. I'm not going there, but I'm saying that sometimes it can be very hard for a coach to get in front of someone who answers to Madison Avenue more so probably than they do the franchise. So
yeah, I think it's more Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just aren't comfortable late in games, and they need to find a way to be better in that situation. Some guys have that
together.
Whatever
they're 5
it's called,
years in,
the clutch gene, they're not good. They don't have that. I don't know. It's based on what I've seen since the bubble. It's not good.
Well, we may see the end of the ultimate clutch gene today, and that is Tom Brady and the Rams. The talk has started to pick up and ramp up, and you'll probably look both games. How cool is it? Those games yesterday, just to listen to them on WEEI was incredible because you create the picture in your head as you're probably like in Market Basket shopping. Like you got the earphones on, you're walking around, you still hear the game. You can hear 2 more games, the other 2 games today, divisional playoffs here on WEEI. I believe the talk about Tom potentially this being his last game, because we both agree that the Rams will win today, is a real possibility. And Tampa, it was fun. You had him for like a year and 8 months, but I think it's over.
Yeah, I think they've gone through a lot of things this year, a lot of negative things, some turmoil. I just don't like the spot they're in. They're injured. They don't. I think when you look at this matchup, I think the Rams have the better coach. I think the Rams, I would say they have the better defense. And I think right now the Rams have the better weapons on offense. Their quarterback isn't better, but Stafford, if he plays one of those games where he's in rhythm and not making mistakes, I know that's asking a lot of him in the playoffs, but I think it's just a time where they're going to have a good day, and I don't think Tampa's going to be able to. Oh, and by the way, they did beat Tampa earlier in the year. So,
plus
yeah,
they have playoff Sony. They've got playoff Sony now.
Sony. You cannot discount playoffs. So when you factor in all those things, playoff Sony aside, I just think, I don't think they're going to blow them out. I just think Tampa, Tristan Wirfs has a high ankle sprain. I know he's not a running back, but still, not easy to play on against that defensive line. Yeah. It's going to be tough for them to. I think Brady will get frustrated as the game goes on because he knows he's not going to have all his guys out there. He's going to lack the resources that he's gotten used to while in Tampa, and as a result, I think the Rams are going to win.
Yeah, Tom has always had this amazing ability to not let mistakes in a game define the end of the game. but I don't think he has all of those youthful weapons. It's a Gronk 5 years younger. It's the different guys that he had here. It's an Edelman who's 5 years younger.
Look, in the defense of the Bucs, I mean, remember last year in the NFC Championship game, it was Scotty Miller making plays before the half on a touchdown pass. So it's not like they have nobody else that can do anything. I just think the other team is good, and it's going to be hard for them.
But I think the whole idea was, okay, if everybody, and this is why I think the importance of Antonio Brown really shows up. Antonio Brown was the devil he knew, Tom knew, right? So if everybody fell out, even if you just had, because remember at one time they didn't have Mike Evans or Godwin. So it's like, okay, if you just give me Antonio Brown and Gronk and we can make this work, right? So now you don't even have the Antonio Brown. Granted, you have Mike Evans back, but Mike Evans is you're if you're Jalen Ramsey, you're honing in, you're following Mike Evans everywhere. And now it really becomes how dependent will he be on Gronk? 617-779-7937. It's KJ and Dondero. Got David in the car. Thanks so much for calling, man.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for taking the call. So everybody's saying this is Brady's last game. And I really want to ask, I'm really curious if people get off doing this because, yesterday Green Bay was going to win. Tennessee
I did not think Green Bay was going to win. If you listen to the Friday night show. Well, in fairness, you didn't know that I was on Friday night, and my 4 picks for the weekend were the Bengals, the 49ers, the Rams, and the Chiefs. Those were my 4 picks.
No, and I had picks. No, I didn't. But I'm saying the average person out here, if you look at the percentage, everybody had Green Bay and Tennessee winning, period. Now, my thing with Brady is this. Brady has won Super Bowls without Gronk, without Edelman, without superstar receivers. Just because he's down Antonio Brown and I can't remember the other guy's name now. Yeah. To think that the Rams, are going to come into Tampa Bay and beat Tom Brady, I think you're crazy. Anybody who thinks that, they're crazy. They're
Dave, they beat them earlier in the year handily.
That's kind of crazy, Mark, isn't it?
And that is why, because of the fact that the Tampa Bay lost that game, that is a benefit for Tampa Bay because now it's not like, we already beat him. Now it turns its strategy all the way around. And if anybody knows about those strategies, it's Tom Brady. What it can happen once you lose, if you lose to somebody, the next time you meet, what happens? He's done over and over again. Guys, there's no way. I put my money on Tampa all day long that they'll lose this game. Tampa Bay's going back to the Super Bowl.
Look, Dave, you can certainly make the argument. I do remember back in the day Tom Brady losing to the Giants in the regular season and then, losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It happens. And Tampa, they lost bad to the Rams earlier in the year. I get they're 8-0. I understand they're 8-0 at home this year, and that game was in L.A. But the first time around, they had Godwin, Evans, Gronk. Brown didn't play, it doesn't look like, but they had guys out there that they're not going to have there today.
But, Mark, you know what fans, I think, sometimes forget to take into account is attrition. Everybody plays an extended season. Like, if you look at the playoffs, right, the teams out of the lower seeds that get in, they've gone through so much attrition that by the time they get to the playoffs, they can look decimated, right? Even with the Bengals, that's not a surprise to me. They got hot at the right time, but you start talking 6 and 7 seeds. Like, that's why the 49ers are such a miracle because they were like, my gosh, they should really be tired by now. But when you're now at this high level, high stakes, and you've got a high ankle sprain on the right side, and you've got a fresh Von Miller on the other side, you've got Aaron Donald up the middle, you're trying to put Leonard Fournette back in there. You got questions about whether the coach is putting people in there hurt or not. You're getting fined by the coach. There's so many other things going on that you almost have to say, you have to take into account attrition. This is not like it's the opening weekend of the season where we're going to see the Tampa team outshoot Dallas. This is going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be pretty. I think Sean McVay has learned a lot from losing to Tom in the Super Bowl. And has some idea of what's going to work and what isn't going to work. And I even take it further. That, hey, if you're having Tom Brady on grass is much better than having that team on any type of, like, surface turf. So you've got grass, you've got mud, you've got slippage, you've got all these different things. You've got injured players who are playing hurt, trying to get through it. And my thing is just this. Tom just doesn't have his assortment of weapons that whole season of everybody running it back, coming back aren't there. And they're just ripe for the loss.
Yeah, that's it. Fournette is dealing with, what's he have, a hip or ankle or hamstring, whatever it is.
Hamstring,
So
which was supposed to kind of have him out for the rest of the season, but, once the playoffs come around, it's like, son, put some ice on it.
So, it's not a stretch to say he might be less than 100%. It just, look, again, you don't know how these games are going to play out. I'm just telling you, I got a feeling that Tampa's not going to be able to win this game. It's tough to beat Brady twice in the season, but I don't think they're going to be able to win this game. The Rams are good. The Rams have playmakers. The Rams, they're playing pretty well. I think they have, you said it, the experience. I think McVay's experience in this scenario is going to benefit him. Even Stafford has experience in this scenario. Hasn't had a ton of success, but has experience and can be good when he's in rhythm. If he can get in rhythm, I think with that defensive line, it's going to be a tough day for Tampa.
KJ and Dondero on WEEI Sports Radio Network. Thank you so much for hanging out. Still to come in about 15 minutes, the debut episode of Dondero. So for those of you who love like Yellowstone in 1883, you'll love Dondero. But think about this. Aaron Rodgers losing last night. Tom Brady now probably in the most critical game of his playoff career, because if this happened last year, you'd say clearly Tom is coming back to make a run at the Super Bowl. But now you wonder, hey, the landscape for next season may look very different just because of this weekend. In fact, this is Aaron Rodgers last night in terms of what he thinks his future looks like.
There are a lot of decisions to be made, and, key players, a lot of guys who played tonight, Brad Z coming back, Whitney coming back from a torn bicep. It's incredible. The contributions we got from Dennis Kelly were outstanding. Obviously, Devontae is the best receiver in the league, and he's free agent, although they could obviously tag him. Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, so many guys' contracts are up or on the brink or salary cap stuff. So a lot of decisions to be made. I don't want to be a part of a rebuild if I'm going to keep playing. So a lot of decisions, in the next couple months.
Mark, let me ask you, what would surprise you more? Aaron Rodgers returning to Green Bay even after saying that, or Tom Brady retiring if he loses after today's game?
Aaron Rodgers returning to Green Bay. I think he's poised to either leave, retire, go to another team. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. I don't think he's going to have enough weapons there. I don't know why you'd honestly go back there at this point. I mean, they're not going to load up. They can't stack the team, especially their chance to do it was, I don't know, maybe get Odell Beckham, and with the way he's played in L.A., especially recently, maybe that would have helped them. That would have been nice putting him opposite of Devontae Adams. I just don't think they're going to be able to give him what he wants. I don't think he really wants to be there. I think he's on his way out, either retired or going to another team. Tom Brady, I don't know, him retiring, it could happen. I'm kind of on the fence about that. I don't know what he's going to do.
We're not here to be on the fence. You got to either get off the wall or on the wall, Humpty. What are we doing?
I think ultimately Tom Brady is going to retire.
If after a loss today?
I think he's going to retire after a loss today. I think Jeff Darlington knows what's going to happen or knows the way he's leaning, and that report swayed me. I think he's going to I think what's going to happen is that could have been Tom Brady up there talking last night.
Yeah.
Like, he's not interested in a rebuild.
No, if he lost to Jimmy G, I think that would be the fuel. Like, there'd be one more light that would go up and be like, there's no way I could go out like that.
He's not interested in a rebuild. He doesn't want to get guys that are just going to, he wants studs. He wants stars. He wants to be, carried through the town with grapes being fed to him. He wants all stars around him. And if they can't do that, if guys are leaving, if guys' contracts are up, Brady and Rodgers, I think, see eye to eye on this. I don't think either team is going to be able to give that quarterback what they want going into next year. That's why I think Rodgers is going to leave, and I think Brady is ultimately going to retire.
Well, I think they're going to make a run to keep Rodgers, and they did this one time with their franchise before, and that's when Reggie White had come to the franchise. And they used Reggie White really to be the recruiter to bring guys to come to Green Bay, and those are those Green Bay teams that won those Super Bowls with Brett Favre.
Super Bowl.
No, they won 2.
They won 1.
Well, yeah, that's right. They won 1 without Reggie White.
Look, and you said about being on the fence, like I can't be on the fence about Tom Brady. Well, yeah, I can, because I think Brady doesn't know exactly what he's going to do. I think he's leaning one way, but I do think he'll give Tampa an honest chance to find some other pieces to put around him. I think, especially if they lose and he doesn't like the way it ended, he'll give them a chance. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it, and I think the pressure from the family will mount, and I think that's why he'll ultimately walk away.
Yeah, I don't think Brady retiring is a surprise to me. 45 in August, which is the greatest week of birthdays, by the way. Tom and I are on that same week of August 1st. July 31st through the 6th. Look it up. Oh, James Hetfield from Metallica. Look, let me think that is one of the greatest weeks of birthdays ever. July 31st through August 6th. Look,
I'll believe you.
Yeah.
How about
Obama's in there as well?
I think the week of December 23rd through December 30th is better because that's my birthday. That's LeBron James. It's Tiger Woods.
Oh, but you leave out Christ. Nice. I'm just totally kidding.
I should have added Christ. You're right. I should have added Jesus
been
Christ.
First.
That's right.
But I think Green Bay may make that one run and say, blank check, Aaron, because all these contracts are expiring. You tell us who you want. We'll make one more run with this because they know they can win that division easily. We'll make one more run with this with everybody you want. Who do you want if you stay just for 1 year? I believe because Green Bay, knowing what they have on the shelf, is nowhere near worth anything trying to continue with. And, it would be a bear cupboard. The Bears will celebrate. The Lions will be competitive against Green Bay next year.
Nope, that's not the move. You never want to go off the legend. You never want to go off the talent. It never works. You leave the legend, you get, Andrew Luck, who retired at 30, whatever. You leave the legend, you get Cam Newton, who was no good, and then it's Mac Jones, and they lose by 100 points.
But they don't have the panache. They don't have the panache as an Aaron Rodgers does with that franchise to say, since all these contracts are expired, go get me this person, go get me this person, go get me this person. Because Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback players are going to go play with. So I'm with you on the same side of the ledger where I think Brady retiring is not as much of a shock if he loses after today than Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. But I do believe that Green Bay is going to make one run at it.
Let me ask you this real quick. I was on this the second it happened. Would you, if you were the team that should have gone after Tom Brady, the Tennessee Titans, would you offer a treasure chest of draft capital to the Packers for Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely, especially after what you saw with Ryan Tannehill.
That is the correct answer.
I think I tweeted out last night that Titans fans are probably asking, what's Aaron Rodgers' phone number? Because that is probably the best ready-made situation for Aaron Rodgers to go to, a weak AFC South. Literally, your only competition is Carson Wentz.
Henry, Rodgers, Brown, Jones. Crying out loud, that'd be a
defense
Super Bowl
that had
team.
9 sacks.
You got to, and that's why I'm rooting for him to leave. Obviously, it wouldn't make it better for the Patriots. I don't think he'd go to the AFC East, but you put him somewhere else. That's interesting to me. I want to see that. I want to see Russell Wilson. One of those guys in Pittsburgh would be interesting to me.
All right, KJ and Dondero here on WEEI. The final game tonight between Kansas City and Buffalo, which is a repeat of last year's AFC Championship. Here's Bart Scott saying Josh Allen has a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Oh, man, it's Josh Allen. Listen,
Really?
if not now, then when? $250 million. Dayball, his coordinators are probably going to be leaving him, soon. He's probably going to have to, learn from other people. But they've given him everything that he needs, right? They went out and got him a number one receiver. They went out and got him a veteran receiver, Emmanuel Sanders. Now this is the time. They paid him this $250 million. They felt that he can be the difference when he had to go against Patrick Mahomes, and he's going to have to prove that. I think that's the player under the most pressure to win now.
As some kids famously said in 02119, is this the end? He's right. Dayball's gone. The assistant GM is going to bring Dayball with him to the Giants.
Yeah, but at this point, Josh Allen, with where he is, it shouldn't matter that an offensive coordinator, you shouldn't be lost just because Brian Daboll leaves. You're good enough. You should be at this point, based on what we've seen and where you are in your career, you should be good enough if another guy comes in. Tom Brady, Josh McDaniels, Tom Brady, Bill O'Brien. There was no huge drop-off there if you're that good.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I've never sat there and thought wow, because of Josh McDaniels, Brady got better. Or because of Bill O'Brien,
That's
Brady
what I'm
got
saying.
better.
If you're that good as a quarterback, it shouldn't really matter who the offensive
coordinator is. But at the same time, when those two guys came, Brady had already won Super Bowls, right? So you already know the winning formula. If this has been the existing formula and someone comes in with a new formula and it doesn't work, there is a such thing as regression. I believe the Chiefs win it tonight, and I'd love to see the Chiefs-Bengals in an AFC championship because the Bengals are literally the Chiefs in the mirror with better weapons. And so that's why I know Chiefs fans. There's a guy named Alex Gold who's part of the company. He works at the Kansas City station. We do stuff on BetQL together. He is just he was fearful of the Patriots early. I was like, don't be alarmed. They'll get long in the tooth. That's what happened. But the Bengals in the face of the Chiefs, and you saw that week 17. That is a team that the Chiefs don't want to see. And if it's the Bengals Chiefs, are you ready for a Bengals Super Bowl? Hasn't happened since I was like a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, I'm not. Look,
you're not buying that, though.
Not necessarily. No, I mean that'll be interesting if it happens. But I think the Bills are going to win today. Like I said, I think there is something to be said for the struggles that Kansas City has had this year, and I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that against Buffalo. I think Allen has been hot. I think the defense is hot, and I think it's the time of the Buffalo Bills. I think they're going to go in and they're going to win a close game.
Gosh, that asteroid that was passing by Earth earlier this week? I was really hoping for like the Chiefs and Bills to be in a tie, and right with 1 second left in that game, the asteroid hits right there on 40 Highway in Kansas City. Not to hurt people, but just to make sure that the game can't be counted.
Yeah, it's kind of it's an awkward.
That's kind of macabre. That's big dark, isn't it?
It's dark.
It's KJ and Dondero here on WEEI 617-777-7937. Text lines 37937. Next, the debut of Dondero.